And I think
both, hopefully.
Like in some countries where there are, for example, like political problems, like no working governments, how can you focus on waste policy? How can you focus on waste management when you don't even have a working government that looks after the people? I think at the moment, the focus of poorer country or countries that are just developing is not on waste management. So I think at the moment, more rich countries actually focus on zero waste, or not zero waste, but reducing waste and reusing waste.
Absolutely agree. So that will also be my point, that we just currently also witnessed this during the session, that different countries have different standards. It's just easier for the specific countries with a more developed waste management system and a more developed economy to actually care about the sustainability of the operations. But then another thing is also, not only the waste management is less developed in poorer countries, but also the what's it called? Like the supply side is also less developed. So environmentally friendly packaging is just way more expensive than the plastics, for example. And so, for example, introduction of a plastic tax or something, or a crude oil tax where plastic is used, would maybe be a step to actually balance this a bit out. Because at the moment it's just more expensive to get the glass or the cartonage box than to get the plastic box. And that is actually the same in European countries or in Western countries or more developed economies, however we might refer to it. But it's just. My name is Julius. I'm from Austria, and I'm currently using my lifetime to prepare young people for the European elections, and I'm involved in different projects with regards to Europe, and also member of several civil society organizations in the sector.
Going zero waste in your life and being sustainable, how important it is for you?
It's very important for me. I think it's at the moment impossible because of circumstances that are not down to me to decide or to change, like packaging, for example. Sometimes there is no other choice than to take the plastic and not the recyclable cartonage box, for example. For my personal life, for example, I avoid packaging generally. I normally bring my own snack box. I don't ever buy plastic bags. I always refuse that because I got my own bag or some textile bag, or I just don't need it. I try to ride the bike a lot and use public transport. I try to avoid the plane and take the train. So the thing is, all these three aspects are actually related to climate change in my belief. So the first one, hunger, very obviously. States where there is a lot of consequences of the climate change are also very often affected by hunger or famine. And it's a known fact that actually climate change is already now causing huge migratory movements, and that this is expected to rise even more intensely in the future. So actually migration and famine very, very much. And well, economic crisis basically occurs partly if people leave the country, if the country is not fertile anymore. And so these are hugely interlinked things. And the thing is just that there are many important issues, and it's also important to have culture in a country or to have a good education system. Obviously, I'm very much into focusing on education politics, but climate change is like hugely central because it's about the space that we live in. And if that is not healthy, all the different areas are affected.
Waste management plays a huge role in climate change. I agree on that. And waste management is very important in all those countries, and I think also it has to be more efficient, especially in poor countries. But it also depends where you do you focus on the consumer, or do you focus on industry? And I think
both, hopefully.
Like in some countries where there are, for example, like political problems, like no working governments, how can you focus on waste policy? How can you focus on waste management when you don't even have a working government that looks after the people.
And how can you convince people of the importance of waste management and the avoidance of pollution if they don't have proper jobs, proper salaries, proper schools, proper hospitals, and so on and so forth? So again, this gets into the discussion of the environmental friendliness and sustainability being like a first world issue.
Of course, it's all connected, but as you can see right now, like more developed countries focus on reducing waste, and also waste, like how waste is disposed, like the amount of bins there are in a country is actually an index for how rich a country is. But the question is it the most important thing we have to think of now? And I think reducing waste is very important, but going to zero waste in countries that barely have an own government, that can't like handle their people, like people moving away, is the first problem, waste reduction. Okay, my name is Anne-Marlen Riemensberger. I am from Switzerland, and I'm still in my last year of high school. Afterwards I want to study law, and in my free time I work in a startup that deals with sustainability and recycling.
Like going zero waste in your life, how important is it in your life in general?
So I never thought of going like zero waste, but I of course want to live as sustainable as possible. And seeing all those packed foods and everything, just it's not that good, and I try not to buy it. I try to be as eco-friendly as possible, but not zero waste in the sense of not using plastic and things like that, but going every day by bike and using public transport, not trying not to pollute the air as much, like, or too much.
I would disagree. I would heavily disagree.
Yeah.
Should I go first?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think that obviously a common solution of all the world is better, just as a European Union solution is better than a national state solution.
Yeah.
Because it's more holistic and it covers more people and more square meters of earth. However, taking this argument as a reason not to do anything until everyone is in the boat is obviously stupid. So
Absolutely.
we have to again go both ways. We have to act locally, and this actually starts with the community, like the municipality.
Yeah.
We have to act regionally. We have to act as a national state. We have to act as far as this is possible somehow as EU, and we have to act with several UN organs.
Yeah, no, I also think like everyone can contribute to a like eco-friendly environment. So like every single person caring about it can change something. And for example, in Switzerland, we have this huge discussion going on with the strikes and system change, not climate change.
Oh, we have that too.
Saying no, it's not only on the like private users, like private consumers to change things, but also on the industry. And then in Switzerland, it's always like we're just a small country. Why should we we an example for China and so on? But I think if someone starts, so many things will change. You know, many countries will try to be more eco-friendly and work on like polluting less. So it doesn't have to be like a common agreement, but someone has to start, and everyone can start, like even private people can start, but industry have to like contribute to it too. And then I think there is a very good chance that that many people will, many countries will follow and try to make the country itself more eco-friendly, saying better waste policies, less pollution, and so on.
Mm-hmm. And I would also add that having as many actors as possible do their things also sort of broadens the environmental sustainability campaign a bit. Because if you look at, for example, Austria, there is actually tomorrow, 15th of March, Friday, I guess that's tomorrow.
Yeah, there is strike.
You know that?
Yeah, we have that too. Like
Okay. And actually, even student unions of the several schools actually organized like a trip of their students or their classes to contribute to that strike. Yeah. So I guess that's also like a signal that more and more people actually know about the importance of that, and we get more and more people into the boat. And this is actually how we make a change.
Like it's also, we live in very developed countries.
Yeah.
So like in Switzerland, Finland is exactly the same. We have every Fridays for Future, and like once a month there is like a huge strike at the weekends. But see, I think when we start as like more developed countries, set an example, other countries will follow in on that.
Hopefully, but I guess also that doesn't come by itself. Like I guess that also in other countries, we need to have other actors that get active there.
Yeah.
But I guess that's again a common sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you guys for the discussion. Give yourself an applause.
Oh, I'm still recording.